Well, as I'm sure we have all heard the news, Peter Lawwell, after a 17-year tenure as Celtic CEO, has stepped down, and Dominic Mackay is coming across from Scottish Rugby to step in and take his place come July at the end of the season. So, I'm here to talk out first of all, do I think this is the right decision? Do I think Peter Lawwell retiring is going to be a negative or a positive? And how do I think Celtic will go forward in the future? But first, before we start the video, I want to give a big thanks to Peter Lawwell. Yes, I don't agree with everything he has done during his tenure with Celtic. I am thankful for the fact that he has negotiated some fantastic sponsorship deals, some fantastic kit deals, and has brought in a lot of revenue to the club. But I do think overall this is a positive. I think that in terms of the club, it's time for some younger blood, it's time for a new vision. And whether or not Dominic will bring that in, that is only time will tell. But just going back to Peter shortly, there have been problems on the board, especially this year, where it feels like the relationship that the board and the fans have is more strained than ever. And the truth is, a lot of people are blaming Peter Lawwell for that, but I don't think Peter Lawwell is the problem. To me, if there's one person who I could kick off the board without hesitation, it would be Dermot McDesmond. Desmond, in my opinion, he is the problem. He is a majority shareholder, but he's never actually put any of his own money in since his failed financial takeover of Celtic all those years ago. In my opinion, if there's anyone we could have booted off the board, it should have been him. And he should take Lennon with him. Now yes, a lot of people are speculating that it was Lawwell who gave Lennon the job in the showers and all that, and if that was him, then that was a terrible decision to make. The fact is, Lennon should never have came back as Celtic manager. That is the board's own fault. The board have lost the 10. All the investments this season have turned out to be utter garbage, other than maybe Albion and Yeti, who could have new potential next season. But now we're going to move on to the future. Peter Lawwell is left for right or long, only time will tell. If the problems still continue that we have seen from the board, then it's obvious it wasn't Peter, it was either Ian Bankier or Desmond. And I've already given my thoughts on who I think the culprit is. But where do we go from here? July comes, it's a clean slate for Celtic. Let's get this disaster of a season behind us. The first course of action has to be to sack Neil Lennon. No question about it. He should receive his P45 and should be out the door. Because the way he has had Celtic playing this season, the way that he's conducted himself this season has been nothing short of embarrassing. And as for who I think should be brought in, well, in the next few days you can expect some videos on the potential candidates. I'll do a video on each of the bookies' favourites, discussing what I think that the pros and cons will be to appointing them, so keep an eye out for that. Another thing I think we need to do is we need to bring in some better scouts, because the fact is, most of this year's signings and even a few of last year's signings, I can bring off the top of my head have been nothing but a waste of money. Okay, the fact is, we need a complete and utter overhaul from top to bottom. Barkaz, I was going to say new goalkeeper, but I'm not sure. I think there could be something there, but I just haven't seen it this season, so I suppose you can. It's a very tough one. Okay, goalkeeper is a bit of an interesting topic. I'd say if by the end of the season and we've still not seen anything from our goalkeepers, then definitely a new one needs to be brought in. I also said we need to sell a lot of the dead wood. because there's quite a lot. I think Scott Brown, one of them, but it's time for him to go. Other players who I think will, not necessarily deadwood, but I do see going in the summer are Anson Edouard, Ryan Christie, Christopher Ayer, and potentially Greg Taylor, and that is simply down to the fact that Celtic fans have harassed him, they give him jip, and basically I do not know why, because I actually quite like Greg Taylor. I think he's a very good defensive fullback. I think that many fans have become obsessed with the whole defenders should just be, like your fullbacks should not be defenders, they should be attackers mentality, when that's not the case. They are defenders at the end of the day. So I do think that will happen. I do think that we'll have to also bring in new players. I think we're going to bring some new blood in. Bring people in who will improve Celtic. No more £3 million signings, £4 million signings. No more is, oh, he's cheap. None of this, oh god, he's an investment for the future. Because realistically, in the last few years, other than maybe Frimpong and Turnbull and Sorrow, which of our investments for the future have succeeded? And this is going back even to the times of Brendan Rodgers. Abu Kouassi, never happened. Christai Benyu, never happened. Calvin Miller, no. I'm honestly God struggling to think of them because I forgot half of them played for us. That a phobe guy who's on loan at Dundee, didn't happen for him. And we need to stop wasting our money on these future projects. We need to think about what's going to improve us in the here and the now. Because at this rate, the rate we are going, Rangers are going to win the league next year. It's just going to happen. We need to rebuild. We need to get a better manager than Lennon. I know people say he's a club legend, which arguably now he's not. And that, oh, he's the man for a job. Lennon is not going to take us forward. He has to go. We need a manager who takes us forward. We need a manager who's willing to get people in, who's willing to work with a very good coaching staff, and to actually stand up to the board and say, listen, no, I'm not settling for your penny pinching signings, we need quality. Another thing, that guy Hammond, he has to go, because he's in charge of our signings. I do not like him at all. I know this is supposed to be a Peter Wall video, but the thing is, we're talking about the new era. Peter's gone, so the old way of doing things are gone. Another thing to do is focus on Europe. Because yes, we sold players and that's turned us over profits. But think, out of the last 3 years of not qualifying for the Champions League, think how much money we've lost. Under Peter Wall, we've never got past the under 16 in the Champions League. I think under Peter Wall, the best we've ever done was get to the quarterfinals of the Europa League, if memory serves. So, we need to focus on Europe. That's where the money is, okay? The fact is, Scottish football is fantastic. I'd love to win the treble every year, but there's no money to be made, okay? Scottish football is not a money maker. You get what, 3 to 5 million for winning the league title. You could probably get the equivalent of winning the league 5 years in a row just for getting into the Champions League group stages. And that is what we need to focus on. If we're all about the money and the smart business, stop this whole Europa League crap. We need to aim for better things. But to basically round out the video, to give my final thoughts, Peter Wall, yes, him going is going to be an effect on the club, but overall I think it's a positive decision. I think it's the right decision for him to step down, and I'm not blasting Peter. I'm not being disrespectful. I just think after 17 years, it's time for a new era. I think Celtic need to be much more decisive in the players we want to get. And finally, we need to sack Neil Lennon. And we need to replace him with a manager who will step up to the board. And who will stand up to get the money needed to turn this ship around, because right now Celtic are a sinking ship. But that is my video. Thank you for watching, supporting the stands. We will have some more videos coming for the next few days. Until then, like, share and subscribe, and thank you.